Hello, welcome to the lecture about understanding the fieldwork assignment. I'll be posting one of these lectures for each assignment, and I wanted to get you started now because it's still fairly early in the semester on your fieldwork assignment. Everything that you see here is in the syllabus, and it's also in the assignments folder on the course homepage under fieldwork. Your fieldwork paper consists of a classroom observation and writing it up. It's worth 20% of your grade or 20 course points. It's based on 10 hours of field work, but that includes the planning, the observation, the preparation, the writing of the paper, and the submission of the assignment. It's all due on May 5th. And unfortunately, because it's so late in the semester, it is not an assignment that may be revised and resubmitted like most of them are. You're to go into a classroom, and this should be a classroom that's not your own classroom if you're teaching. It may be in your school, but it should be a classroom that's at your certification level. So if you're certifying for adolescents, it shouldn't be in an elementary classroom, for example. Sit there and observe the classroom for 3 to 4 hours, and these should be hours that are instructional, not hours that they're at a recess or at lunch. Then write a 4 to 6 page paper summarizing your observation. Now, it shouldn't just be, I saw this and I saw that and I saw that. It should be focused on the assessment that you see occurring. For this reason, I'm encouraging you to start to look around and locate a placement to do the observation, but not do the observation because you haven't learned enough about assessment to know what to look for. I would recommend doing the observation maybe around starting around April. Please notice there's a permission to observe form signed by the Dean of the School of Education. This is on your course homepage. I'll show it to you later. During your observation, take detailed notes on activities that relate to all kinds of assessment, questioning, informal, formative, summative, etc., and take notes on the context of the observation. So find out how many students, how many girls, boys, any special education students, things you see. So you want to be able to write a really full context. And here's the outline for your paper, 4 to 6 pages with citations and references in APA format. So the context, what I described before, you can see it listed here, and then briefly describe the lesson you observed, include standards, write them all out, or learning objectives or targets, write them all out. Don't just give me a number like NGSS 3.1, write it all out. But this should not be the bulk of your paper. This should be a relatively short section. Most of the paper should be in the next bullet. How is the teacher using assessment in the classroom to know what students understand? So you need to use citations from your readings to support your analyses. So if you're seeing formative assessment going on, you might discuss in your paper how Macmillan talks about the use of formative assessment. You could use a few quotes and of course citations and references. Some things on which you wish to comment, maybe. In what ways were your experiences similar to or different from your prior ideas on assessments? In what ways did this teacher use standards? How did the teacher formatively assess students? What types of assessments did you see? Why did the teacher use these assessments? How often is assessment done? And what accommodations did you see or did you hear about being made for diverse learners? So that's the bulk of your paper. The reflection is a few paragraphs on what you learned from this experience. Now, a reflection is different than a conclusion. A conclusion basically summarizes again, but a reflection goes deeper and thinks about some things that you learned. So, what surprised you? What new ideas occurred to you? How did this compare with what we were learning in class? So many different things you could put in a reflection, but so often I see a tidy paragraph basically summarizing that you went in and observed, and that's not a reflection. And finally, a reference section in APA style to support your citations. Again, there's the OWL Purdue link that I posted on the homepage that would help you with that. Once you've written your paper, you're going to submit it as usual on Blackboard and fill out a fieldwork form or log on TaskStream. I've put instructions in the TaskStream folder on the course home page. You don't need to upload your paper into TaskStream. That goes to Blackboard as usual. I always encourage students to sit down with the rubric when they're writing their papers, and they usually wind up with a better grade. So let's go through the grading rubric. This is the rubric I will use to assess your paper. I want the context to be fully explained, so a complete picture of the setting is provided. So you're going to give me the grade level, information on the students that I talked about before, etc. The standards or learning targets or objectives should be present and fully written out. And if you don't know what they are, ask the teacher for them. The lesson should be fully described and not difficult to follow. Continuing along with the rubric, we see that the next section, which is the bulk of the paper, is about the use of assessment in the classroom. Here you should describe all the different types of assessment you see occurring during the lesson, whether it's informal or formal, whether it's pre-assessment, formative assessment, summative assessment, or more. Again, this should be the bulk of the paper. Reflection is describing what you learned from the experiences. A good reflection is different than a conclusion. References include a reference section and appropriate citations throughout. So anytime you cite from the textbook, you can give the reference for the textbook. By the way, that's in the syllabus properly formatted. Writing mechanics and APA, these are things like grammar and spelling and APA rules are also included in this. And then also included are whether or not you filled out your fieldwork logs on TaskStream. So that's the rubric, and you can keep it out in front of you, and if you follow it, you should get a good grade on this paper. On the course page, there is a set of folders, uh, and, and, and the other thing I want to point out is the permission to observe form. This is signed by the dean. You don't have to return this to me. What you need to do is print it out and send it to whoever asks for it. The principal may ask for it, the assistant principal, the teacher may ask for it. And it's a letter basically stating that this is a valid project for you and your student at Mercy. The TaskStream information folder at the bottom is where you find information about how to activate your account if you don't have one in TaskStream, and how to fill out the fieldwork logs. Inside the TaskStream folder, you see this set of files, and if you have any questions at all, you need to email Harriet Lew, L-E-W. She's our TaskStream coordinator, and her email is hlew@mercy.edu. So any questions about TaskStream, Harriet will help you. Thanks.